Okay, welcome to our podcast. I'm your host, Alex. Today, we have five guests joining us to talk about the role of youth in inclusive and sustainable housing in Malaysia. With us are Lena, a young tenant in Kuala Lumpur, Amer, a student from the Architecture Department of UKM, Dr. Tan, a housing policy researcher, and Sarah, a sustainable development specialist from a local real estate company. This broadcast will last 15 minutes, focusing on youth housing pain points, participation value, and prospects for 2030. Let's dive right in. Okay, first, let's start with the most uh, practical question. Lena, as a young tenant, what's the biggest problem you've encountered when looking for housing?
The biggest issue is affordability. I rent a small apartment in Kuala Lumpur and the rent takes up 50% of my monthly salary. Malaysia's National Housing Com- Com- Co- sorry, Corporation defines affordable housing as under ranging 300,000, but such housing only accounts for 28% of Kuala Lumpur's market. Even if I want to buy a house, banks require a 20% down payment, but my savings are only 8% of that, completely out of reach.
Lena's experience is topical. Another key issue is supply-demand mismatch. The market has a supply of large apartments, but young people need a small 20 to 30 square meters units or shared housing, which are rare. Also, over 70% of youth have misunderstanding about sustainable housing, thinking it's more expensive than traditional housing.
From a cooperative perspective, we also find that young people care more about short-term rather than long-term sustainability. They acknowledge the green housing can save 30% on monthly light bills through solar ingress and rainwater housing systems.
Many young people think
What
sustainable. Oh, sorry.
what 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 that some people helping to activities made from Malaysia's youngs.
Okay, many young people think sustainable housing is distant. Amer, as an architecture student, what does sustainable housing mean to you and your peers?
It is not just about green material, it's a low cost, high living ability. My team as UKM design a micro-green apartment with vertical greening and shared kitchen, which won the Young Housing Innovation Award for Malaysian Ministry of Housing. Its design cuts construction costs by 13% using the industrialized building system, making it affordable for young people. It also fits our lifestyle of remote work and co-living.
For real estate companies, sustainable housing is also a response to young demand. We launched a great housing project with sharing workspace and solar panels and 60% of the buyers and the younger people's proving is not just a concept but a practical need.
From a policy perspective, sustainable housing is tied to SDG 11. It helps Malaysia achieve the goal of inclusive and sustainable urbanization by 2030. And youth are the key to driving this change.
Youth are not just people looking for housing. What active roles can they take? Amer, do you have any examples from campus or community? Amer? 麦没声了，没开麦。
Sorry. Yes, the young cyber-stable housing alliance in cooler, lower laundry and all building green renovation projects. We volunteer installed solar street lights, the raining water collection system in all resident area covering over 500 households. 65% you are young tenants. It is a small step, but it lets us apply what we learned to real life.
I also joined a young housing roundtable held by the Ministry of Housing in 2024. We proposed adding shared space to small affordable housing, and this suggestion was included in the revised Kuala Lumpur City Plan 2040. Youth voice can actually influence policy.
That's a great example. Youth can be policy participants, design innovators, and community promoters. Not just not just sorry. 我去，刚刚点出去了。Not just passive reception of housing policies.
Okay, the government has launched the youth housing scheme. Dr. Tan, how effective is this policy? What's missing?
The scam offers up to 100,000 ringgit in loan subsides for first time home buyers under 35. But as of 2024, only 12% of eligible youths have applied and been approved. The main issues are cumbersome application processes and insufficient promotion. Also, only 35% of affordable housing projects use IBS technology, which cuts construction time by 30% and waste of 40%. The government needs more incentive to promote this technology.
From corporate side, we need more government collaborations. For example, tax break for real estate companies that build green, affordable housing for young. This would encourage more enterprise to participate.
Also, the policy only focuses on home buyers, not renters. Most young people like me are still renting. We need rental subsidies too.
And 2030 is just 6 years away. What roles do you think Malaysian youth will play in inclusive and sustainable housing by then? Let's hear from everyone briefly.
I hope youngs will be sustainable housing designer and promoters. More student teams will create innovative housing solution, and young people will actively participate in urban planning, making house more tailored to our needs.
Okay, Lena?
I expect more accessible green housing for renters. By 2030, I hope the government's Youth HDB Flight program will launch letting us rent or buy small sustainable units at cost price.
Policy-wise, youth will be core participants in housing planning. The government will likely establish a regular youth feedback mechanism for housing policy, and youth-led housing cooperative will become more common, helping low-income youth solve housing issues through collective financing.
Interface will work more closely with youngs. We'll launch use the competitions programmer, letting the young people decisions housing with us, ensuring the project meeting their needs and sustainable goals.
Great points. It's clear that youth are not just beneficiaries, but also builders of sustainable housing. 2030's goal rely on collaboration between the government, enterprises, and youth. And today's discussion shows that Malaysian youth housing is not just about finding a place to live. It's a key part of sustainable development. Youth have unique perspectives and energy to drive change. And we look forward to seeing more young people take action by 2030. Thank you to Lena, Emer, Dr. Tan, and Sarah for sharing your insights. This wraps up our 15 minutes podcast. See you next time. Thank you.